Hey guys, Smokey here, back with another Demon Hunter guide. We're going to be going over Havoc Demon Hunter in this build that I've recently seen and I've been testing out myself. I saw this build on Psycho DH's stream. Gotta go check his stuff out. I mean, he's doing a lot of the testing for Demon Hunter. He's playing at the higher level. He's doing the raid testing. He's doing all this stuff. So really good to go check him out. But just kind of regurgitating his information that he's been giving us. So let's take a look at the build. So we are running Momentum here. This is really going to change the rotation how it's going to be played. Most of the time you're probably used to your demonic and your cycle of hatred, insatiable hunter, your demon's bite build, and just dumping it into your 4 buttons. Now we're using a lot more and trying to use the combos of all of them together and really working off momentum here. So first things first, Fellblade. He's running Fellblade, so I'm truly showing his talent tree. But I like Fellblade specifically because it's a nice little gap closer. So when I pop Vengeful Retreat and I'm going back out, I can Fellblade right back in. It does really nice damage, and it procs pretty often for me at least. So I mean, it generates 40. If you get that second proc, you're at like 0 or 20 Fury. I mean, you can just boom 80, and you're capped at 120 as you can see. Demon's Blade. You're not really spending a whole lot of time in melee, so I don't even think you'll have that much time to Demon's Bite even if you weren't running Demon's Blade. So I think this is probably your better bet. But maybe Insatiable Hunger is better, or maybe it feels more comfortable for you. But I like Demon's Blade. Doesn't really feel like a big deal. You're not really standing in melee, sitting there auto attacking very often. You're really doing a lot of movement with momentum, with Vengeful Retreat, I beam, whole lot of other stuff you're gonna be incorporating here. The huge change, besides momentum, is Unbound Chaos. Unbound Chaos got nerfed. It is no longer the same Unbound Chaos we have from pre-patch. This is completely different on beta. This is scaling off of the damage of your Fel Rush. So my Fel Rush is doing like 661 Chaos damage. We'll just round that up to 700. 300% of that, that's like 2,100 damage. It's not that much more damage to really think about it from just Fel Rush alone. Where Glaive Tempest, it's going to be doing the 4,000, and you don't have to like line up your Fel Rush in that one straight line. It sits there, hits the 5 nearby enemies. Yeah, so Unbound Chaos before used to have like that demon slamming in that was uncapped, doing big damage, hitting everything nearby. So it was obviously the better choice, but now that is not the case. This road, level 35, doesn't really matter. You can really get away with anything. The only difference here is that Soul Rain's a little bit different now. So instead of getting that flat 10% leech just all the time, you get that flat 5% leech, but you get more leech when you're in meta now. So maybe that's good, maybe that's bad. First Blood, this is what I'm running, just because if you're not really running First Blood, it makes it where you don't really want to press Blade Dance. It costs a lot of Fury, it's not doing that much damage if you don't have the ability on it. Cycle of Hatred, you're not really trying to bring back I-Beam because you're not really running Demonic, so it's not that big of a deal. Master of the Glaive, you can get away with anything here. I'm just using that just because if I'm like jumping out, I can throw it. If I'm a little bit out of range, and when I'm jumping back in, nice little filler. It's also nice to have the slow on it because it helps kite mobs for your tank, and just overall just nice to have. The big change here, momentum. 15% damage increase for 6 seconds, and Vengeful Retreat now generates Fury if it's hit one mob. And it generates a lot of Fury, 80 Fury over 10 seconds, so it's pretty nice. I mean, and if you're using this with Immolation, or you're generating a lot of Fury, along with maybe some random Demon Blade auto attacks you're going to get into that generate Fury as well. Fury generation isn't too big of a deal. So, our legendary, we're running Collective Anguish. This is the one where you're going to get I-Beam and the Veldev cast at the same time. Big reason why I believe this is being chosen is because it's not capped, and they're both going to get that 15% damage increase. So you're going to get pretty good damage from this. The other options, we can show those here real quick. They're okay, but I think Chaos Theory is your other best bet. This is probably more of a single target build. The rest of the stuff, it doesn't really change much. I mean, Darken Nature, just 25% chance to convert their souls into demon soul fragments. I mean, and that's a 24% chance if you kill something with I-Beam. You're not really killing stuff with I-Beam, it's mostly your opener. And if stuff's about to die, especially now that it's your one big actually AoE damage with being uncapped, you really want to make sure you're using this as an opener, getting the haste value, and doing the big damage. Felcore, you don't really need the 30% CDR on Fel Rush. I mean, 6 seconds on a 10-second recharge, you have pretty good uptime on it. You don't really got to worry about that. Burning Wound, I believe this does work with Demon Blades. I'm not too sure, I'll have to test it out, but the damage you're getting from it is pretty minimal. It's not too big of a deal, so yeah. Obviously, we're running Collective Anguish, went over that. Fel Bombardment, this is just the Rogue Glaive damage increase, not that big of a deal. And these are just some other mediocre Legendary powers and Torrid Gas powers. So, Last thing is the conduits. So we're running Pelagos, obviously we're running Kyrian. The very nice quality of life thing I'm happy about it is that Vengeance and Havoc, if you're running Kyrian and you're running this build, they're running pretty much the exact same tree. The only difference here is that you're running a different potency conduit because obviously you don't use the exact same potency conduits you use in Vengeance. So for Vengeance, you normally have repeat decree here, just because you're going to be getting your Elysian decree a lot. You're going to get a lot more cast of it as Vengeance because the legendary we were running. Check out the last video if you want to know more about that. But you have a couple options here. You have Dancing with Fate, which is just going to increase the final slash of Blade Dance. I believe that final slash will hit multiple targets, so that's nice. And it's also not too bad of an option, just because we're running the running First Blood. So yeah. The other option you can run is going to be out of Plague Fall, and in Plague Fall it's going to be Relentless Onslaught. So this is at item level 145, 5% chance, not terrible. I just think that it's a little low. When you start getting the higher item levels of this is definitely the best option. Just because I think this is going to start at a higher damage percent, and the other one is Relentless Onslaught's a little bit lower proc, but once it starts getting higher item level, it's definitely your better option here. But everything else is the same: Vicious Ink, Shatter Restoration, and Growing Inferno. Growing Inferno is very important, so make sure once you unlock your tree, you're getting this first. I mean, the damage you're going to get from it is huge. So let's look at the rotation here. So just show you real quick, and then we'll kind of like go over a quick little review of it here. So let's reset the data, make sure we get a fresh slate. This is 5 targets, so this is a pretty good representation. I mean, most of our abilities are going to be capped here: Blade Dance, Glaive Tempest. So we'll get to see a pretty good representation here. So I'm not going to be using meta. The nice thing about this build, actually, before I kind of get into the rotation, is that your out of meta damage is actually very good. You don't have to have meta to do damage. It's not all about the that's why you were running demonic before. It was your meta damage, and that's why having the lower cooldown on meta. That 3 minutes was super big. Now having 4 minutes and also not running demonic, you can do pretty good damage without meta. So it feels nice. You don't have to play around a 4-minute cooldown, which was not great. So yeah, let's go into it. So yeah, on five targets on AoE, doing about 9k consistent here. You can see Glaive Tempest is by far your best damage. I mean, it's pretty good uptime. You're going to see it up a lot of the time here. Look at the auras here. So let go of the past. This thing is crazy. I mean, maybe this will get nerfed, maybe it won't. But anyways, but yeah, this is pretty good. I didn't use my momentum very well. I could have probably got a couple more fell rushes in there in my rotation, but this is pretty nice. 60% uptime on 15% damage increase. That's pretty good, and it can be even better if you optimize it more. So that's always nice. Immolation Aura up, very good chunk of time, and just some other stuff that we're gonna just kind of gloss over here. So big thing to look into is my Fell Dev doing 9%. And my I-Beam doing 6%. That is 15% damage. That is more than a Legion Decree. So it looks a little like a little bit low, but together they're always cast at the same time. So that's a pretty good chunk of damage. Immolation Aura doing a good chunk of damage here as well. I mean, 10%. Legion Decree only got it off once, but again, doing very good damage. So yeah, this build is really nice. I mean, like you can see, Fell Rush is doing a chunk of my damage, but it's not like you don't need to Fell Rush to do DPS. You don't have to run in and out, similar to kind of how Unbound Chaos is on pre-patch. So I like this build. I'm enjoying it. I'm having a good time. So if you want to see some higher gameplay of this build, I would 100% go recommend checking out Psycho DH. He has some really good content. I would really appreciate if you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Get some more subscribers in here. We can finally not be capped on 15-minute long videos. I can show you a full key. I can give you some commentary. And yeah, so like I said, please subscribe. Get some more Vengeance and Demon Hunter and Havoc guides in here. And have a nice day. Thanks for tuning in.